We're coloring a map today. 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 We're coloring a map. We're coloring a map. We're coloring a map today. Hello, my name's Wes Jones, and this is episode 10, where I'm coloring a fantasy map. We've had 9 previous episodes where I've taken a map from a white page, and we are now done the inking and we're going over to the coloring phase. It's an exciting day. I can't wait to start trying some colors on this map. I think it's best if I speed through a lot of this and then do some narration. And if I need to slow down at any point, I can do that. I want to cover a lot today. Coloring so fantastic and fascinating, and I'm very excited to start this episode. Okay, here we go. I'm checking the line work here just to make sure it's all solid. And oh, look, there's the rhinoceros warrior that I have there. That turned on by accident, but it's worth looking at. Testing out the colors that I had thought about using before and filling them in. That's why I checked the line work, so that I could fill in these things very quickly. Filled in the water. Missed an island there. And you know what? I wasn't overly happy with the color of the water. Changed this tone a little bit. Then here I was just filling in the ice. Not with any final colors. Doing the flats so that I can adjust it quicker later. At this point, just getting my layers ready and starting to test the color of the areas that have more vegetation. And starting to fill it in. I started to become kind of happy with that, the look of it. Conscious to do more of it in the south and then on the southern side of those mountain ranges for the most part. As you can see, I didn't touch any of those northern islands hardly at all. Drew it a little bit darker. I thought it was looking a little flat still. Every time I go through these passes, I'm just trying to build up the colors a little bit. Okay, off to the mountains. I chose that color for all of them and zoomed my way through them. I was maybe zoomed in a little close. You know, sometimes you have to be conscious of, well, how big is this actually going to be on the map? But I want to get these fairly accurately. Test out the pens there. I do that always just to see what the pen looks like. In that case, I was actually seeing, is this the pen I want to use? And I turned it to a darker color just to test. Now this part here is something I do all the time, is because I'm using a pen with transparency, I do it in a solid color there and put on the layer just so I have it as a backup, so that if I need to adjust something later, I can sample that color. That's how I go about doing it. Because it's amazing how many times you'll need to just make those tiny adjustments. You can't find the color you used again. Again, just making sure the pen worked. Zoom through the rest of these mountains. It's a fairly... Actually, the mountains probably took the longest to draw on this map because I did the base color and then I started doing shadows, and I didn't do too many highlights. I did the snow caps at some point, I believe. Checking the pens. Now you notice here I didn't zoom in as far when I did the shadowy side of the mountain. I realized I really don't need to be that zoomed in. And sometimes I like having the pen work or the coloring not line up perfectly with the pen work. It just depends on the type of map. You can see just drawing through there, everything's on the same side. The shadows are all on the same side. I missed those mountains, so do those back in. Like I said, the mountains probably took the longest to do on this map out of everything I've done actually so far. But mountains are kind of fun. I never mind drawing them. I like zooming out in and out just to make sure that everything looks good when you look at a distance and look close. There, I was testing out the pens a little bit trying to determine what I wanted for the snow. I did change the pen. I wanted something with a little bit more of a watercolor-esque feeling to it. So on the edge of it, you'll see, especially when you zoom in, you'll see a little bit of a line on the outline of that snow area. Just like the look. Focusing on those northern islands and on the northern side of the islands. Did the mountain range, and it's not as white as up north. Played around with the layers a little bit. And here, I think I was trying to figure out what to do with the water. Yeah. Trying to figure out what type of coastline do I want. There I tried something I don't typically do. I put a buffer around those islands, and as I painted in, it naturally created an outline. I got about halfway through, and I didn't actually like how it looked. I thought, it looks a little too artificial. I'm going to draw it again. And you can see I'm quite zoomed out at this scale again. Get a better sense of what the whole map looks like when I do it at these scales. And so if I can, I do try and stay a little bit further away at times. Here I decided to go for a coastal effect where it's lighter than the other waters. It just depends on whether I want to go lighter or darker or do line work. I think I am in the next video going to go over just doing a little bit more of a coastal effect. But this is what I came up with now. Adjusted the colors a little bit. Went a little bit darker. You can see I actually adjusted the water more than anything. The ice I played with a lot. Really wasn't sure what color to use. I guess the green in the land and the white on the islands. So I sort of clashed with the color of ice I was choosing. So you'll see I'll make a lot of subtle adjustments. Again, I changed it again. Kept changing it. I wasn't sure if I wanted the water, the depths to show through. Here I'm adding a white outline to things. It's really hard to see. You'll see occasionally I turned on and off the layers just to say, am I actually doing enough here? I try to make these sort of as highlights on one side of those cracks. Now, made the pen really large and I started adding a texture. You could see it for a second there, what it looked like. I liked it so much actually that I applied the texture to basically the whole map. Changed the transparency, did it a couple slightly different colors, and I really did quite like it. Down here, oh yeah, this is where I decided that I need some snow caps on these mountains. Make them stand out a little bit more, and bringing the white throughout the map help unify the colors. Played around a lot with the pen at this point. I remember just wasn't sure what I was doing for a second. Yeah. And then I added in the swamp. Again, wasn't quite sure what the colors. And so what I did there is I thought it was too flat, the map. And I basically duplicated that base layer and brought it in again and used a multiply effect, a slight one, and I think it brought out those colors nicely. Here I'm drawing a color around the coastline on the land side just to help that land stand out just another time, because there's something wasn't quite working for me in this map. I noticed I'd missed some of the water side of the coastal effect there. This took a little bit of time, but it's totally worth it. Coloring in the trees. I made sure the trees, their line work was great, so I can just use a fill bucket to fill those in. I stopped at this point because there's something really bothering me. Everything was flat looking in this map. So you can adjust things. I did make it stronger. I finally came to the conclusion that it is really actually the contrast between the water and the land that just wasn't working for me. What I did there is I actually just duplicated the layers again, and I applied a multiply effect, and I really liked the look of it. It changed the whole feeling of the map. The map became more northerly looking. It looks like it's cold now, and the land stands apart from the water, I think quite effectively. The tree part didn't take too long. In total, this drawing was at least 2 hours to do the coloring. I did stop halfway through because it's great to stop halfway through if you have the opportunity and come back to see if you like what it looks like. Just zooming in to get a last little look at it. And yeah, this is the map. I'm pretty happy with it. I like the way that the colors ended up working. It's always great to start with a color concept in mind and then play with it until it starts working. The next video, I'm going to look at coastal effects. That video won't be as long. Just want to do, I think, a little bit more to help, I guess, again, with the contrast between the water and the land. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, that was a fun video to do. The thing that surprised me the most and that I liked the most was adding the texture to the water and the ice. Almost looks like it's snowing when you zoom in close. Very much like that. Hope you enjoyed the video. I learned a few things along the way. I learned that I don't know where my tools are half the time. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to the next video. Take care.